Hi, this is Hubert from Team Libra Lords. I invite you to another video on our channel. In today's material we will discuss fatty dewormer. Fatty dewormer comes in these jars. It comes in two sizes, 75 mm and 65 depending on the size. In the case of 75 we find 8 worms in the jar, whereas the 65 offers us as many as 10 lures in such a jar. A jar in which you will not only find our lures but also aromas. We have 4 scent versions: cheese, krill, garlic, and an unscented version for those who prefer not to fish with aromatic lures. These we have created especially for you. And Fatty dewormer, it must be admitted, is an extraordinary lure. It can confidently be said that this is one of the flagship lures of the Libra Lures brand, designed for catching really nice hefty brown trout. It also performs well when fishing in trout area fisheries, but is also effective for catching perch. There's no denying it, a great advantage of this lure is its appearance. Look at these perfectly replicated details. An ideal imitation of a worm that tempts even the laziest fish to attack. We can easily deceive them by simply casting these accepted proofs. We impart action through gentle movements of our rod tip, depending on whether we are fishing in a river or on a lake. It all depends on you how aggressively you lead such a worm. We generally do not recommend strong handling, just gentle playing with the rod tip. Unless we are fishing at the end of the drop, because with the Fatty dewormer, not only can we fish with very light heads, starting from 0.8 G in tungsten, we can also heavily load it, which you will soon see in our aquarium when fishing typically, classically, from the drop if we want to target nice perch. The floating material allows us to use a wide range of rigging options here. Whether it's a Braska drop shot or side rig, it will perform brilliantly. Some also fish in the Scandinavian maw. I personally use the Nedrick method with this lure. Very often, or rather most often, I simply fish with a regular classic jig head, but a tungsten one on a barbless hook, factory made, because that's what the trout fishing grounds where I fish require. But this means that by using a small bead, I can very nicely highlight the advantages of this lure. And now see how quickly you can rig the lure with such a tiny tungsten jig head, a barbless hook, a special thickening, or rather a rib located on the body of the fatty, indicates where we can pierce our hook. And it's ready. Here we can also use wider bend hooks to have greater assurance that the fish will hook, but usually there's no problem with this because this lure is very easy to finish. It folds during the bite. And that's quite nice indeed, because it often appears as though we're using too short a hook, not really believing that the fish will actually hook in a way. Well, thanks to Libra utilizing a special material here which is incredibly stretchable and also very flexible. What do I mean? Precisely at the moment when the trout attacks, it hooks onto this lure without any problem. In the eyes of anglers, Libra has already gained recognition throughout Europe. And it must be admitted that some people come up with really interesting ideas for our lures, sometimes even ones we wouldn't have thought of ourselves. Originally they didn't come up with it, because with the Fatty dewormer, as we've seen, people often say it like this. Oops. We have a catch now, Fatty. And we get a completely different lure, and we have it like this. Here's a half of the Fatty dewormer, which allows us to easily fish spots on our rivers or lakes. Most often, if I use this trick, I use the tail part, but nothing will happen. If you do the same with the front part, only then do we arm it from the place where we tore it off. And what's cool is that since we have 10 lures in the jar, by using this trick, we actually have 20 ready lures for fishing. Nothing left but to search for fish. Behind me you can see lures from the trout series. They come in 20 effective proven colors. The same applies to fatty worm. Not only is it stretchable, we also tried to perfect it here. The colors we can fish with, or with such bright colors. For more, shall we say murky water, or by using more subdued shades of yellow. But you will also find colors, black, brown, a variety to choose from. And now let's see how such a lure behaves in water with the most basic rigging, which is a tungsten head with a barbless hook and more preferred for fishing with eyes. Heavy strong drop on a lid head. Pay particular attention then to the action of this tail part. It really does the job. Thank you very much for watching this material. I hope you enjoyed it and that you are also fishing with the fatty worm. In fact, we know this because you keep sending us pictures of fish caught with this lure. Be sure to visit our Facebook page, Instagram, on TikTok. Leave a subscription on the YouTube channel, and also I invite you to our account on X. We have the same name there. Libra Lures. Below you will find links to all our socials. That would be all for this material. See you in the next video. Bye.